It happened and what I saw happen were two different things.
Can you care to explain? If you don't want to talk about it, then I totally understand, dude.
Nah, I mean, if you've never been in a structure like that, I mean, the way this thing was built, it could have been hit by
Yeah.
several airliners, and it would have stood there. It was the explosions at the ground level that fucked me up in the head. You know what I mean? Like, why is the basement exploding?
Yeah. I mean,
And
for me, just purely, I mean, obviously I wasn't there. I was fucking a young kid in Britain. But for me, looking back on the videos, like it looks like a controlled demolition. I'm not gonna lie. Just the way the the way the levels blow out, it's like what the fuck.
yeah, I was standing there when they demolished Trade Center 7. They said we got to bring it down.
Yeah, the one that didn't get hit by an airplane, and they're like,
that was a controlled demolition.
oh,
There
within
was
hours,
a demo. There was a demo
hours of the
site.
first.
Yeah, there was a demo crew on site, and they're like, "Okay, boys, everybody back. We're going to drop it right now. Boom, 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 boom." That was it.
But no, doesn't it normally take them like weeks to like lay the fucking charges in yeah.
You see the problems I have with this?
Yeah, absolutely,
the same
dude.
problems I have with it. The same problems.
And then they go build
Yeah.
a fucking bigger one over there. You know what I mean? They build a bigger one right on top of it.
Not to mention that false flags are a known political technique, like a tried and tested way of getting stuff done politically.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a religious person, but I believe honestly there's a higher power that does look over us. There has to be. There's no reason I should be alive right now. But something said don't go, and I didn't. Yeah.
Can you ask that something just to tell you when to buy and sell it? And then tell me.
I gave you the God mode.
Oh shit, yeah.
That was the best response ever, David.
What's that?
That was the best response ever. Well, you've got God mode, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so VLC can also convert my AVIs to MP4s as well. That is pretty cool, and I didn't realise.
There you go. Hey, have you just installed VLC?
Hey?
Have you just gotten VLC?
No. I've had VLC for a long time. I just didn't know it could convert files.
Dude. It's been around for like fucking years.
Has it been able to do that from the beginning?
Yeah, really. I didn't know that.
So I thought it was just a player.
I use the MPC home theater thing. It's like a VLC, but I guess smaller. Called MPCHC or something. Yeah, MPC-HC. This is what I'll post a link. This is what I use for watching videos. Hey, Sonny?
Hey, dude. All right.
Yeah. What's going on here? I thought we were going up.
We might not be going up now.
Okay.
We're only going up until we stop going up.
Yeah, I think I had a brain fit, and yeah, we're going up. I bought some coins. I didn't buy any futures.
And let's go.
Let's see. Anyway, I mean, it's broken out. The wedge.
Oh, it's like a total fake out there.
Yeah, probably.
Bull trap.
Also on Spider Crusher, I have on the 4 hour, I've got really strong resistance, so I'll support at 370ish. Sorry, 327ish. Is that right? What am I talking about? 327.
Support at 327.
Yeah, no, that would be resistance.
What? What?
No, sorry, 1970. There you go. There was a 7
Yeah.
in there somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
So I've got a little channel on Coin, and it seems to have tried to peek out the top of the channel about 20 minutes ago,
Yeah, it's failed, yeah.
and it failed. Now it's going down. And the ask side was quite thin, and now there's a big wall. Probably going down. 1 minute, 3 minutes, MACD is turning down. 5 minutes looks like it's going down now.
Yeah, the 15-minute wants to roll over too.
Yeah.
I think it might just bounce along sideways here for a couple hours, like we did yesterday.
Shut up.
Shut up.
I don't have time for that shit.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody won't be hearing that.
I mean, we're fucking 31 yuan off making the new bottom. It's not good.
A new bottom, you say? No.
322.18. Wall on Holy bid wall. Couple hundred. Of course, they're moving that around. They're moving a little higher. 322.81.8.
What the Bollinger's looking like at the moment? Quite tight now. 2 hours a bit slacky.
12 is popping up off the bottom. 6 is getting ready to test the 20 MA from the bottom. 4 is riding along the MA at the bottom, sliding down.
Yeah, it's not very healthy.
2 hours bouncing off as support. 1 hour is kind of trapped at pinching. 30 is pinching. 15 is riding the line. 5 minutes pinched. It's getting ready to pop up. Bouncing off the bottom Bollinger.
Last time we had a dump, I noticed that the CMF went up and touched the middle line, the median for it, then dumped. So it looked like it was going to rally, so they faked it out. Looked like it was going to rally, then dumped it.
I may do a small buy here. Wait for maybe 15 minutes for another buy, and then wait for confirmation on the 5. Looks like it's getting ready to turn up.
This is what happened last time we had a rally. It was dead quiet. Couple of signals saying buy, and then it just fucking launched. Still bearish, but I think they might try and squeeze a few people before going for new lows. 15's about to turn over.
You know, and I really need to turn off fucking emails from TradingView. Because I just get loads of fucking emails about people commenting on charts. It's like, no.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to know.
I put them on spam list.
Yeah, fuck that.
It's really
You can
good.
filter specific ones.
Yeah, I'm just not having any emails at all.
I just turned all that shit off. The only thing I get is alerts for new charts and comments on my own charts.
Yep.
Put it a nice redirect back to the webmaster at tradingview.com.
Minute God mode just looks broken. The new candle just came in.
Which one?
30-minute. It was bullish. It was pointing up. It had such a beautiful arc to it. Your new candle printed and it just turned down.
And then it went,
Yeah. We'll see
Dun, dun,
though.
dun.
You know, I'm not bearish yet. Not full bear. I wouldn't want to short here yet. Serious selling soon, but I think 1970 gets broken and then I'll become bear.
I was just looking at this Baby Pips website. I went back to the front page and started reading it. It's actually pretty comical.
Why is it comical?
Dr. Pipslow, Forks Gump, Cyclo Pip, story
Oh
on
yeah.
the
I
school.
thought you meant as in the content itself wasn't good. But yeah, it's really fine.
Pip Diddy.
What's that, Pip Diddy?
Yeah,
That's great.
Pip Diddy is Big Pippin. 1 minute turning out.
Sunny,
Yep.
you know that ABCD target we had yesterday?
What was it? 1917 or something?
1926.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think that's still valid?
I think it is, yeah. I think we'll probably get lower than that though. There might be a bounce around that area though. It's going to go to the core. The question is, today or will it go sideways? And I've got a feeling. I mean, looking at that ADX DMI, it's saying 4 hours just saying sideways.
I have a doubt.
6 hours. It's 4 hours saying sideways.
It's kind of converging to the middle, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. There's a median line. You can see it. It's very clear. But the 4 hour is actually still slightly bearish on the ADX. 6 hours, sorry, 60 minutes completely flat now, and so is 15 minutes. So there's no inclination to go up or down right now. It's just going to go sideways, I reckon. It'll be one of those things, you know, where you get this slow sell-off. It's low volume. It'll move in a direction and it will just speed up. I think it's going to be one of those. I think it's going to go up first.
I mean, for me, whenever I start to feel bullish, I just look at the 1 week DMI. The ADX is actually starting to like show that there's a change in trend. Increased selling, decreased buying. It's starting to expand on the weekly. You know what I mean?
I've looked at the weekly one before. I'm excited.
I mean, look at the 3-day DMI. The 3-day DMI says, fuck me.
Daily looks pretty grim as well. Well, maybe it's starting to flatten. I don't know.
Yeah, it's starting to come back down a little bit, but the selling's still increasing.
Yeah, fucking hell, that weekly looks grim.
Makes it look like it's just the beginning, doesn't it?
Yeah, although it's flattened off, starting to round off a little bit. Means it could go sideways maybe, but 3 days had a top. It's come down from that. Trend again a little bit. Daily could go either way.
The one that scares me is that fucking monthly chart that I sent you this morning with the Gann square.
Yeah, I know. We're last port of call now. Last support. Really good chart actually.
Mm. You know, I'll post it up in here if anybody else wants to see it. Hang on. Got a few that I sent Sunny this morning.
Adding 25% to my position.
There's 3 charts in the chat. You guys want to check them out?
This chart out as well. I'll just post it. I think we've got quite a bit sideways to go here. The order of third today, and I'm talking about like 2 days time in the morning, 8 a.m. GMT.
Yeah.
Wednesday is when we're going to get a test, I think. Until then, we could just chop.
I mean, that monthly chart, when you zoom into the daily level and look at it where we are now, is quite insane, considering that the chart itself begins at like the date that Bitcoin was born, and it still matches up. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy.
I didn't realise you can do coordinates for the lines as well, can't you? So you can really precisely place them. Is that's probably how Chris Michaels did it?
Yeah, that's how he did it. That's how I'd done it on the monthly one as well. I counted back how many months it would be till October 2008, which is when when the paper and whatnot was first posted, and then set it to the 0006 price point, and it just fit perfectly.
Crazy.
Yeah, I guess they don't call him Crazy C for nothing.
Fucking propeller head, isn't he? He loves this shit.
He's just so bang on, like, to the fucking point. It's insane.
Difficult to understand what the fuck he's talking about half the time.
Yeah.
Because he misses words out, and you know his explanations are not always that clear in the first place. It's
You've got to totally decipher what he says, but once you work it out, you're like, holy fuck, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
And then he shows you a chart, and you're just like, oh my god.
Okay, coin 1 minute. How flat that is.
I'm gonna have a play around on this monthly again and see if I can find out where the next levels of support are gonna be.
I will take the trade, thank you.
What's that, David?
I'm selling here.
Closing up, David.
Yeah, it's gonna go up. I just wanted to get out of the trade. I want to go get something to drink.
Oh, right. Sorry, I thought you were going to say it's going to go down.
Oh no, I bought it. Price 1977 and change 50.
Yeah, I'm seeing it going up as well from here to.
Yeah. But 1 minute God mode is up there, waiting on the 3 and the 5 to round up. But I don't want to sit here and wait for it on this little volume. I'd rather get out of the profit.
Here we go. It's breaking out again.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to that twilight chop.
Yeah, low volume though. Low volume. You've got to love those shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch this run right up there.
They roll, man. When the Chinese are asleep, they're just fucking. They might as well play.
Gold shrimp. Cut out at 1980, so um, yeah, yeah.
Anyone watching my charts, 329 on stamp is a level for me. It's a range level. And the 67 MA is about to skip off of it. If the 67 MA skips up and off, then we'll get the higher prices. Over.
Ah, that's pretty cool. You know, if you go into Bitcoin Wisdom and change the chart into logarithmic mode, then if you draw a trend line and then switch back to linear, your trend line's all curved. Anyone seen that?
Is anyone interested in inviting Professor Dan into the TeamSpeak?
Does he need an invitation? Like, doesn't he been here before?
Maybe I'm using the wrong word. I don't know if he has the TeamSpeak sign in or not.
I'm not sure. Why don't you help him out?
He's going to ask me what the topic is. Do you
The
want to
topic
do
is, are we dropping or are we going to have another FOMO rally?
Okay. Reaching out. Shane, are you over at TradingView? Do you have an account over there?
Yes.
Can you send him a little note as well to just encourage it along?
Okay.
Thank you.
You see, how do
You can do it in PM too.
I just type his name?
In your PM?
How do I go? There wants to go at.
Just type a DAN, capital V. That's his username. And you should get a little dot that says that he's on or in the platform as well.
Oh, yeah. It's Dan V, yeah.
Well, you would see his avatar too, if it's of a waterfall.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Adam. I think I can copy and paste this and maybe put it in Google Plus as a whole post. I'm sure Reddit loves that. But we're not on Twitch anymore, so let's see if I can fix that up. I wonder why a Google Plus would pull up the Whale Club on Twitch through that post. I don't see that in the post.
Are you what?
The Reddit post. When I go to take that into Google Plus, that has all of how you get involved.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that post. Do you have a link to it? Because I want to put it in the message to Dan.
Yeah, hold up. Go down below, and Adam has posted it down there for me in the TeamSpeak chat.
Oh, cool.
You see it? But somewhere in here, it has picked up the URL to the Twitch feed. I see. I'll switch that out with the broadcast link of the YouTube feed.
Okay, I've just messaged him.
Thank you. So Google Plus gives me back this message. It says this post violates our policies. It's visible only to you. I told you that they would have problems with that post.
With what first?
The Reddit post.
Why?
Same reason why we got taken off of Twitch, I suppose. You have to follow up, and I'll do an appeal, but just letting you guys know. I submitted it for review. I suppose I could redo one. This came from Flibber, though, I think. Adam, it says that it was.
What if you use like a URL shortener so they can't figure out where the URL points to?
Yeah, maybe. I cleaned it up too so that it refers back to a YouTube video, but they rejected it. I think it was the when it went to reddit.com.
Yeah.
So I don't think I had to put that in there. I'll try and redo it. I thought the decision on Twitch today was interesting, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the post picked up the Reddit. I'll stay true to the original post, but I'll make it so that Google will accept it.
Only I had 1,000 coins to sell. Fucking market sell them and dump this market.
Okay, second violation for me. That's it. I'm not going to try it again.
Hang on.
Sorry?
Yeah, I'm trying to post something from Reddit over on Google Plus, and it's putting me in violation.
Yeah.
That's
Did you use a
weird.
URL shortening service?
No, I cleaned up the whole thing too. I cleaned everything up. I had to say something.
Yeah, but did you the actual URL
Shane,
that
are
goes
you
to
on?
Reddit?
You're on Google Plus, right? Can you do
Yeah.
it for? Can you do it for me?
Yeah, but no one follows me. Like,
Oh, well, no one follows me either.
so what's the point then? No one's
I'm
gonna
trying.
see it.
I'm trying to get the message to Dan, and it's not letting me.
Want to put it in TradingView chat or in our Bitcoin market? I'm not that desperate to speak to Dan anyway.
I didn't sense any desperation from anybody.
I wasn't implying that.
Just
that's
saying
what
that
you did.
something a simple cut and paste from Reddit into Google Plus is a violation, which is what I thought maybe was going to happen.
It's terrible that that is the case, but what can you do?
Well, now I know, so I can do something different in the future. The only part of it I really needed was the TeamSpeak, how to download, where to go to download. All I needed was that part, really. I didn't need the original post from Reddit. That's what got me in trouble.
I'm totally speechless, Sonny.
Yeah, you know what? I was just going to say that's my pivot from now on. I'm going to use that line, go above it, get long. If we hit it and look bearish and get short.
Seriously, like, wow, Gan. Oh
What
my
are you talking
fucking
about?
god. You
What are you
you
talking
know you know that monthly chart that I posted with the huge Gan square?
Yeah.
Right, well, this is the same Gantt square, which is starting in 2009 at the 0.0006 price point. This is it on the hourly from the latest candles. This is gonna blow your fucking mind.
Oh, Dan's responded to me.
Well, don't run and trip over your shoelaces.
Yeah, there you go. It's in the chat there. I can't fucking believe it. That Gan
Maybe.
Square starts from 2009, from October 2009.
We're reacting to it now.
Yeah.
This is the first touch of it as well, right?
Yeah, we broke it on the 1st of November, and we've since bounced sideways and then come up and tested it, and we literally touched it like fucking perfectly on stamp.
Can I get a bit of background of what you're talking about?
Yeah.
You know Gan Squares?
I know of them.
Yeah, basically I am going to scrap all of my fucking trading methods and I am going to use GAN only from now on. It is like fucking voodoo, as Sunny says.
Yeah,
Okay.
GAN is good.
GAN is like amazing. Basically, I went back on. Have you seen my monthly chart, James, of the GAN square?
Your monthly chart.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Hang on 2 seconds, mate. I'll get you a thing of it now.
Shit, we're breaking up.
Get a bit long here if I can.
Right, so there's the monthly chart on Bitstamp there with the GAN square, starting from like the inception of Bitcoin and the price point which Crazy C told me to use for GAN. You can see that we've sort of followed the square to a T, and then you can see that we've broken that GAN angle. You know the big fan. We've broken that yellow/orangey fan line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is it on zoomed in, that same square starting from 2009. This is it zoomed in on the daily. There you go, there it is on the daily.
Okay.
And then this is it on the hourly. That same line starting from 2009.
I mean, these just look like arbitrary lines to me.
It's like it's GAN angles.
Right. I mean, I'm gonna have to read about them, obviously,
Yeah.
because I don't understand the significance of just crossing over to like a line.
James, think about it like this, right? So that line has been in momentum, right, since like 2009. So that line is just like a fucking laser beam that's been firing from 2009, and we finally just interacted with it over the last month, and we just pinged it on the hourly perfectly.
And that line starts from 2009, October 2009.
Your charts on TradingView don't even go back that far. You have to pull out a special historic chart from Mt. Gox where they meld it together with Stamp in order to get that line to actually be usable.
Okay.
Really, really old line.
So how, I mean, the rest of the lines on this GAN thing, then, I assume that they must have had effects on the price. I mean, the different parts and this and that of it. I'm gonna have to find some literature on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like you know Fibonacci fans. You know how like when it breaks it normally fucking like when it rains it pours, and when you break it you fall to the next level, and when you break you'll float along that one, and then you'll drop to the other one.
Ah, so wait, so it's resistance lines and
Yeah. It's like support and resistance lines.
so what? So oh right, so I get it. So you're excited about the fact that we appear to have broken a support line, I suppose.
It's a huge support line, yeah, which like dates back from fucking 2009, like, and then we've come back and touched it. When I zoom in on the hourly, we've touched it perfectly. That is like that's blowing my mind right now.
But what does it mean? Seriously.
So guys, Dan is chatting to me, and he's concerned that he doesn't want to download TeamSpeak. He's scared of downloading software and then it messing up his computer or having a Trojan and it was Dan V. So if any of you could like reassure him and tell him that he doesn't have to worry about this. Software.
It'd have to be beauty, wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Tell him to go to the Wikipedia page for TeamSpeak.
Yes, and also that if he already has Skype, and there's been no interference whatsoever. I'm probably the most frightened of downloading anything, and this was an easy fix. Like nothing has happened whatsoever. I can share something with him on G+. If he has Skype, no problem.
The initial release of TeamSpeak was in 2001.
Yeah.
And it's had millions and millions and millions and millions of downloads.
And so stable for us too. I think it's been marvelous.
Yeah, it's perfect. It works fine. It's what we needed over the Hangouts, really.
It doesn't have backdoors like Skype.
What's a backdoor? Never mind.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd look up that GAN dude, James. I was reading
now.
Yeah, I was reading about him the other day, and like, if you look at how much money he made using his mathematical formulas and whatnot.
I'm just before I do, I'm kind of annoyed because I was saying VLC was converting those files.
Yeah.
They're like it's like dropped the frame rate on them or something, and now they play like shit.
Oh, you might try a different one.
Also, Tootie, if you publish a chart, Allstay will be able to grab it and put it in the Whale Club, because we have someone on YouTube that says, what happened to Twitch, share on the video, and share the chart that we're talking about. This is from a Chris Bell.
To see these charts.
Yes, the only way that they could see them on YouTube, of course, if it went through Allstay's pickup from the published charts over TradingView.
Right.
You just think about it.
I don't really want to publish these publicly.
Yeah, I understand. So to Chris L, if you're out there listening, come on over to Twitch, because those charts are over here with us. And come on over. I mean to TeamSpeak, pardon me.
Yeah, if you want to come on TeamSpeak or message me on TradingView, then just drop me a message. It's tutti frutti.
Easy to remember.
Yeah, fuck anything else for trading now. I'm going all GAN. All organic from now on.
It's good to have one system, man, and stick to it. But I think GAN's one of the best, man.
GAN's the boyo. This is like honestly just blowing my mind right now.
Bull run incoming.
Yeah, I'm buying up a little bit. Be faking out, but fuck it, just nibble on some and see what happens.
15-minute B-bands are like fucking tight as shit. They're getting pushed to the upside as well.
Chart in the box from me, guys.
Really pissed off with the low, thin order books on Coin at the moment.
The 15-minute, I've got a reversal confirmation. Blue candle followed by a confirmation.
What, going up?
Yeah. But the same on the 30-minute as well, if we can hold this level for the next 8 minutes. They often get cancelled out, but I learnt my lesson last time. I saw one of these and we just had that rally, so I missed it.
Walking its way right into another rally.
Low builder, I think.
Could be a bull trap.
Could be, yeah. Next resistance levels at 1989.
We close above 324.25 on the 3-minute. Or 1982.5, I think. Close above that.
It's Nighthawk that wants you to share that 2009 Gann chart. Nighthawk.
Alright, cool, I'll message him.
Anyone reading God mode on the 15-minute? It doesn't matter what product to me.
Says bye.
Yeah.
Such fucking bullshit.
1 hour Ruby showing bear sentiment.
Your 6 minutes to close that candle, Mr. Lau.
Okay, guys, I'm going to shoot off to watch some X-Men. I'll be soon monitoring all of the craziness. Bye bye.
Alright, see you later, dude.
Whoop ass is bullish.
Also, Mr. Lau, it's best to read what Ruby says overall for the trade, right? Overall.
Okay, I convinced Dan to download it.
So maybe he'll give you 10% of his followers and then you'll have people to follow you now. And then I'll give you the 800 I have.
slowly but surely becoming more and more racist towards Chinese people because of the way they trade on this exchange.
There's a divergence on the 5 minute. Looks like a trap.
Yeah. Straddling the 67 right now. God mode can't break the 50% Fibonacci on the last move.
Is the God mode indicator available somewhere publicly?
It is. Are you new to the TeamSpeak chat?
Oh, well, I've been on for a few days. I don't say much, but I've been listening.
It's okay. Scroll down into the chat box. Take a look in there first. If you don't see it, then one of us will make sure you get it, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. It'll be a paste bin file.
Thanks.
And if you see it, tell me that you've got it and then say thank you to everybody. Just like that.
Should I be looking in the trading talk only tab?
Yes, uh-huh.
Pro fighters undecided.
Price under the 67. God mode weakening.
Okay, guys, you can thank me for triggering the dump because I closed some of my short.
Oh, shame.
Why would you do that here, Shane?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
It's looking
Very
like
short
a...
high amount.
Huh?
Okay.
Very short high. Or is that the idea?
I think it's a bull trap, that's why I was asking.
Yeah. Like I had a feeling it was gonna go up, and it did. So I closed some of my short, and it kind of stopped going up. And then it went down again.
Well, thank you, I think.
Yeah.
He's he's becoming a wise and disciplined trader, right in front of right under our eyes, or under our noses.
I love that though, because that I've done it before where I've kind of stopped an entire market by cancelling an order. So it seems, from my perspective.
Well, we can't wait to see that in real time live, okay?
Well,
I'm
Shane just
waiting.
did it.
Yeah, just tell me which way you want the market to go, and then I'll do the opposite.
Alright, Shane, go long, please.
Everything into the thin cloud, okay? Do you mind? So God mode got Nike'd at the 50% Fibonacci. There will be a chart in the box. That means rejected. Thanks, Adam J.
Oh, MySpace Tom's on TradingView chat. Have you guys looked at the S&P today, by the way?
No.
Have a look at it. It's fucking nuts.
So have any of you heard of this new Google Inbox thing?
I saw a little ad piece on it earlier, but I didn't go into it. But they were advertising it on Google Plus today.
Were you saying, Tootie, the S&P 500?
Yeah, have a look at it, David.
Double top into the moon, baby. Let's go.
I just decided to have a quick look at it today, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you have two inverted check marks. We'll go for launch, and then we have a real check mark, good for launch.
Unread message.
Okay, I got God mode installed. Thank you very much.
Oh, great. Make sure that you scroll back so you can see where the circles are, because this is a version that's the most recent version, and it has some indicators on it. So scroll back in your chart, like a daily chart, so that you understand when those signals come in, what they look like.
Will do.
You are now one of us.
I saw it popping up, so very intriguing. Thank you.
Right. You'll go to Xsilas over at TradingView and thank him and his developers for it. Inside the code are the coders' names.
Yeah, I saw that.
Make sure that you give them attribution.
Okay.
So what did Silas make God mode?
He, as I understand it from him, is that he did not code. He's not a coder, but the other folks coded it, but it was his inspiration. He had seen something that he wanted, and then he sought the coders out. But obviously you should ask him, you know what just like if you have any questions about Ruby, you should ask me. So David, talk to me about what you thought was the launching pad for the long in this pattern. Are you still seeing a long in this? when you originally thought that maybe it was a long, what were you seeing in the pattern, if you don't mind? Okay, on the news front, the tweets are starting to ramp up for the Money 2020 event. It still seems a little early in the day for it, but it's starting to ramp up now.
So Dan's joined us. He's just trying to figure out how to get out of the lobby and into our trading room, into our room.
You should double click it.
You can. Okay, I'll tell him now.
Walk them through some of the settings, guys, if you can. For those interested in last night's keynote, they have put it on YouTube now. That's Benjamin Lowski, if you wanted to see how he was hanging on words. It's on YouTube now. I'll get a link and put it in my Google+.
How do you? I find it hard to believe how Dan is struggling to use the user interface of Teams.
Right, I'll be right back in like half an hour, guys.
Well, you know what's crazy about that Twitch thing is that I think that they used it sometimes when they would do consumer electronics conference and those kinds of live events, non-gaming related.
Hello Dan, can you hear us? You should be able to hear us now. Hey Dan, Shane here. Can you hear us?
See if you can walk them through the press to talk.
Okay, so if you can hear me, then maybe your microphone is not set to the option for automatically picking up your voice. It's possibly on push to talk mode.
I think that was him.
Yeah, I think it was. It was him. So if you go to the settings, then click options, then you can see on the left where it says capture, picture of a microphone. You click in there, then you'll see a bunch of settings to change the way your microphone works. You can have a play around with that and get that set up like you prefer. Must still be having some problems.
I did hear his microphone though, didn't you?
Yeah.
He'll sort it out.
Hello.
There you are.
Hello, Dan.
This
Hello.
is quite a journey for me to get to this place.
Okay. Well, you made it.
Yeah, I think so. I've never seen this platform, so I'm really having difficulty navigating around.
It's really good though. It's this software is very old. It's actually probably over 10 years old already by now.
Okay, well, I'm here. So what are we doing?
So we were chatting. Tell us what you think of the charts at the moment.
We discussing Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
So what's the overall content? How we taking these? Are we just sort of freelance or following a particular theme or anything like that?
No particular theme. We're all pretty bearish. We kind of think we're teetering on the edge of the cliff here. But it's just stagnant. And we're not. Yeah. So if you could get any light on what you think's happening. You know that we had that pump yesterday evening, which was probably because of the Money 2020 conference.
Okay.
Lawski was saying some positive things about Bitcoin, and there was a bit of a rally. But then we've done a full 100% retrace of that today.
Yeah,
and,
well, the retracement has become relatively deep when you compare with the upswing we had from 5th of October at 270 zone. We had a zigzag swing to the upside, and then we have been spending all that time really retracing. We've almost retraced, not quite, but almost 78%, 76% probably. And because a lot of these movements happen without a clear impulsive move, it becomes very difficult to try and put correct labels on or elliott wave counts on. But I think if you forget the elliott wave, then I suspect looking at 1 hour chart that on the RSI we have had almost like what seems to be a double bottom. We are now looking at potential divergence being developed. However, we are back at the 50 level on the RSI, so we really need Bitcoin to break to the upside in order for the new uptrend to be confirmed. So if, for example, we start sort of reaching 340 or above, then I think there is a good chance that we could probably break out of the declining short-term trend line, which starts from the high at 420 area.
Yeah.
So I think we could be looking for potential short-term bottom in place. And then based on the chart that I have published some while back, I'm looking at this one now, possibly aiming toward 400. That's as a general expectation.
So you're bullish then. You don't think we're gonna go down to like 315?
No, I don't. I mean, it's possible it can drop even further. It can actually drop down to 300. That would be 78% retracement. But just keeping in mind that on an hourly chart, when we had a low around 330, 335, we had an RSI low, and then now we've had a recent on hourly chart, we've had a one low and the next slightly lower low, and now the RSI is forming a divergence after a second bottom. So in RSI you got double bottom. It's now picking up a divergence. We are just hovering on a 50 level zone, which is like a neutral zone. So either we could drop from here back towards 300, or we could actually get a new momentum to the upside. So right this moment in time, I think I still have a bias to the upside, but it doesn't mean that it will take it off straight from here. It could still drop to 300 before going that. But I think there is every sign that we are looking to bottom out and the retracement could well be nearly complete if it's not already done.
Okay.
So I'm looking for a zigzag up, and we've had a first zigzag which took us from 270 to 430 area. We have now retraced that, and I'm really expecting another second leg. And in terms of a larger time frame using a daily chart, many of you might pardon me, many of you might have seen me share with you bit stamp chart with like a light brown or I call it brown or light brown boxes on my chart with next to the light blue cyan boxes.
I don't remember that one. I may have seen it before.
Yeah.
Could you post a link to it in this chat message, in this chat box?
How do I do that?
At the bottom of the chat server, the TeamSpeak.
All right. Okay. So let me post an image.
There.
Let me post an image there. You don't have a permission to send a server text message.
What?
He just needs.
I just pasted the link
Click on-
of the image snapshot.
Click on the tab, Dan V. Trading talk only. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
So you'll see on that particular image that we've had a low back in April 2014, and essentially we did almost what we've just had from 270 to 400, 420. So I think we had the first leg down, or first leg up rather, and we have been retracing. On a previous one, I think we retraced about 61.8%. This time we have retraced a little bit deeper, but I'm really expecting the next leg up.
I see. Yeah.
And that next leg might not develop straight away, because even on the previous one, and I'm not saying it will do exactly the same, but on the previous one, for example, it did a retrace to the downside, then it more or less just went sideways for quite a while before it actually picked up. So we could still spend several days just sort of congesting in maybe $20 zone in that area. So the lower side could be 315 or that kind of region, maybe upside maybe 330, 340 area.
Yeah.
We could do maybe another few more days around there before picking up speed. But I really think that regardless of how many mega bears that are now strolling in the chat, I still think that we have a second leg up that will take us to 400 zone. Whether it takes us to 395 or 400 or maybe even 450, that remains to be seen. If I'm looking at that cyan line declining resistance from the top, then you'll see that it seems to be aiming toward 450 area.
Yeah.
And I think it has every chance of hitting that. If not 450, then 400 I think is the realistic chance. And this is just looking at it from my perception of what I think this is the falling wedge. It is a falling wedge, and so far the price symmetry I've said, for example, in magenta at the top, that with a little bit of imagination and ignoring some of the big spikes, the overall price action decline looks very similar in general outline.
Yeah.
And therefore, I am suspecting that the current bounce from 270 will also be a zigzag similar to the one we've seen before. Back in from April low. April to, what was it, June? Was it April to June? April to May.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get something like that, but it won't be the same in terms of the dimensions, i.e. price dimension. But you'll see in terms of a time dimension that the previous one took 52 days or 52 bars.
Yeah.
And if we do the same again from the recent low, then that would tell me that we are probably halfway through. So we've had the first leg up, we had a
Yeah, so a few more
retracement that took
days.
a long time, and we are now looking for the next leg up, and it could be, it doesn't have to be, but it could be overall from low to a high 52 bars like the previous one. So we'll get a time symmetry, but the price wise it'll be not the same, because the previous one went from 330 area almost up to 680. Well, this time we're only looking from 270 to maybe 400 or 450. But I am seriously, I am looking at that, even though it might sound silly in a sense that a lot of the bears are now saying this thing is going to drop to 300 and 280 and 290 and
Yeah.
200 even, almost making me feel rather timid now. It surprises me how the general downtrend from November high has literally killed all bullish. Yeah, it's literally killed. And
all the
I am,
long-term bears have become bulls. I mean, all the long-term bulls have become bears.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was a
I mean,
holder.
I don't
I was holding
think
from the
we've
top, and only
actually,
recently I've become a bear.
yeah, I don't think that we've actually seen the low yet. That's the main thing. Based on that chart I just posted, I think we will hit probably 400 or 450, and then we'll have another decline that would really pump up the bears. That this thing is now going to the single digit kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But I think 240 would be a good zone, really good zone for a support, because you got a down trend line, or not a trend line, but a down declining line which will become support. We've had almost 3 hits on that line now. Fibonacci, Fibonacci projections is suggesting around about 340.
Yeah, I
And
see that.
yeah, and then also if you look at a very big long-term uptrend line on a weekly chart, it seemed to be intersecting around about 240 area, 220 to 240 area. The big uptrend line from very low. So I think there's a good reason, and especially if we get a hit at 450 or 400 on this next leg up and we start declining, then
your
I
next target is
suspect,
like 240,
yeah, I suspect that we could be confirming my interpretation that this is the falling wedge,
yeah.
and in which case we could put a significant low in the region of 240. Give and take 10 or 15 or $20 either side. Yeah, I said 240 because some of you might have heard me say 240 is a good round number, really round number, not well known, because when people look at round number, they look at 250 and 200. They don't look at 240, but from Gann's analysis, 240 is a big number.
Yeah.
And it's big number because Gann worked on a circle which has 360 degrees. So 240 would be like 2/3 of a circle.
Yeah.
So
Makes
that's
a lot
why
of
I'm
sense.
looking at, but just not relying on that alone, but the fact that, as I said, they've got,
But all these things are lining up.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So
I had roughly the similar outlook myself, actually. I like this chart. Very nice. Thanks, Dan.
yeah, thank you. My pleasure. It seems on this platform you can only chat. Can't chat and have a voice conversation.
You mean with the charting, like screen sharing?
Yeah, you can't do screen share on this, can you?
I think Flipper said there's another way to do it, but like you have to use Switch or something like that. So we would do it with two separate programs. This would just be for the voice communication and
Yeah, I
the
understand.
chat and the
Okay.
pasting links.
Yeah.
But if we wanted to screen share, we'd have to use a separate application for that. Although, to be honest, since we've started using this, we've gotten by okay without the screen share, by pasting links, charts and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, like we were able to talk about your charts in quite detail without needing looking at it here, and it's quite clear.
Oh, I see.
But what are those lines? The other lines, they've got like W and Y and W again on your chart. There's WX in orange, and it's got these WX, Y, W, Y. What does that mean?
Sorry, you're asking me?
Yeah,
Okay, you're asking me about this WXY on my chart?
yeah.
Okay, well, generally the Elliott wave rule says that when you have, for example, a proper impulsive move to the upside or to the downside, then that impulsive move will have a signature which will show that there are 5 internal waves. So it's like if you take up a one picture, within that one picture, if it's an impulsive, it will have 5 internal waves. And then when that 5 internal waves are complete, then that's like saying one cycle is complete. So then you get a retracement. And the typical retracement is ABC. So it's like a zigzag retracement.
Yeah.
And in that retracement, you can have a situation where the first leg down, if it's a move up and we are retracing now, then the first leg down could be a minor impulsive. That means it will be impulsive with a minor 5 waves in them. Then you get a wave B, which is generally a smaller zigzag retracement. And then you get another leg of another impulsive move with a 5 internal wave. So you get ABC zigzag. But sometimes what happens is that wave A doesn't have 5 waves in them. It sometimes has an actual zigzag. So when you are looking at this without any particular wave showing impulsive move, then the WXY is used to count what I call non-specific waves. So it is the waves where you are retracing without any one of them being an impulsive 5-wave move. So when you look at Bitcoin, you'll see that a lot of those swings are 3 swings. A lot of them are 3 swings. So because they're all 3 swings zigzag and none of them seem to have clear 5 waves, so they're all combination of minor 3 swings making up a larger 3 swings making up larger 3 swings, and then none of them show a clear 5 waves. And then what I mean by clear 5 waves is, if you, I can't sort of show you on here, but you will see, for example, let me see on this chart here if I can show you. Okay, so this is going to be, this snapshot I'm going to make now is going to be an example of theoretical
the classical Elliott wave theory.
Yeah. So let me just post that here. It's my drawing, so it won't be to scale. So don't focus too much on the actual swings. But what I'm trying to say is that, see where I've got a wave B at the bottom? Yeah, on a schematic diagram. Wave B at the bottom, and I said we are here.
Yeah.
Now that arrow was placed when we were bottoming, when we were just coming out of the bottom at 270.
Okay.
Right now, yeah, but now we are not expecting 5 wave up because this is one alternative. Uh, if we had 3 swings and 3 swings, so what my speculation was that from the April low we had 3 swing up, and then since then we've had combinations of zigzag, but essentially a 3 swing down to 270. So one of the outcome could be is that we would get a 5 wave swing to the upside. But the very fact that we've not had the first swing up from 270 high, 270 low rather, to 410 or 415 high, that first swing up is not actually 5 waves. So even though I'm saying we are down here and we are now looking for first swing up, but in that first swing, if you look at it on a shorter time frame, you'll see it as a zigzag. I mean, in other words, it's a 3 swing rather than a 5 swing.
Yeah.
From 270 to 415, if you look at it on an hourly chart or 4 hour chart, you'll see that it's a clear up, down, up 3 swings.
Yeah.
So
1, 2, 3.
yeah, if you look at it, if you say on an hourly chart, you see the first sort of a complex swing with a spike, then you got a sharp pull down, and then another spike up. So those zigzag is it's not, I can't label it A, B, and C, because one of the qualifying rule to label it A, B, and C is a wave C must have 5 waves. In other words, just like the drawing I've just shared here. So we don't have that. If you look at any of them, you can't see any clear 5 waves. So that's why I'm calling it W. So W means it's a zigzag up to W. Wave X is also a zigzag retracement to the downside. And then we have gone up in what appears to be a complex zigzag, but not a clear 5 wave up on an hourly chart. And that means we now completed the first cycle up with a high with a high around 395 on hourly chart. Yeah, 395.
You're talking about the swing from 275, or?
I'm looking at a swing from 270 low we had recently.
Yeah.
So from there on hourly chart, you see a very sharp, quick move to the upside, a spike and a pullback.
Yeah.
And then another zigzag up. So I'm calling this W in bracket.
Yeah.
And then the pullback, I'm calling that X in bracket. Because no element of the part forming the W and no element of part forming X have a clear 5 wave. You know, to a visual eye, you can't really see 5 waves at all. All of them appears to be some complex zigzag, zigzag. You see. So then again, if you look at it from X to the next spike high, which 395. Again, there is no clear, 5 wave up. Some people have attempted to label this as a 5 wave, but I can't see it as a clear 5 wave. So I am calling this simply as a wave A, because in a wave A you can have complex zigzags, because wave A doesn't have to have a 5 waves. But then you see a retracement back down, and then going up. I think we have a potential 5 waves. So I've labeled it as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then that took us to the high at 415 or 420. So that now forms an ABC, because wave A is satisfied in the sense that you don't have to have any impulsive move, and wave B is like a triangle, and the triangle can be formed in a wave B. then wave C must have 5 waves. So in this component, we have 5 waves. We have 1 in blue, Roman numeral 1, Roman numeral 2, 3, 4, and 5, which now gives us a 415. And even if you look at the wave 5, from the low we had at wave 4 at 367 area, we see not 367 area, 360, yeah, 367 area, we have a clear 5 wave move up. You can see that as a clear 5 swings.
From 417.
Yeah, you know, yeah, we formed we after that sort of triangle, we had a first wave up, which I'm calling this Roman numeral 1.
Yeah.
Then we had a pullback as Roman numeral 2.
Yeah.
And then we had another leg higher to form a Roman numeral 3 with a high around 380 somewhere.
Yeah.
You see that?
One.
It's actually on 12th of October.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a Roman numeral 3. Then we had a pullback Roman numeral 4. And then relatively large swing up to take us to Roman numeral 5, which takes us to the high that we had recently, which is the top of a swing that started from 270 to a top around 415, 418 area.
Yeah.
You follow that?
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah. So you see in that wave C, after the triangle, in wave C we have a clear 5 waves. So that's one of the requirement, is that wave C must always have 5 waves. So when you don't see a zigzag of some nature following with a 5 waves, then simply means that the next one is not a 5 wave, so it can't be impulsive, but it's some kind of a complex ABC. So when you look at the decline we had from 415 on hourly chart, you'll see that there are literally nowhere in that chart at all we've got a clear 5 wave move down. Now I know Cheshunt has attempted to label these as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but I really can't justify putting impulsive move down. So that's why on let me give you an hourly chart here. It might be better. Maybe then you'll understand clearly what I'm talking about. So this chart is an hourly chart. Yeah, I've sort of squashed it to give you the full picture, but you'll see that from the low we had at 270, it took us 204 bars on my chart on an hourly to take us to the high of 418.
Yeah.
And that is made up of a zigzag, which is called W, X, and Y.
Okay.
Yeah, and in that the wave W is just complex zigzag. Then you got a zigzag down to wave X, and then wave Y is a zigzag and is formed by wave A in brown. Wave A, and then wave B, and then wave C. Now I can say that is ABC because wave C has a clear 5 waves in them with the Roman numerals on them.
Is what?
Roman numeral, like what you call number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Roman. Yeah, not like a Arabic number where we say 1, 2, 3, like an English number 1, 2, 3. This is the way of putting a Roman number. We call it Roman numeral.
I know Roman numerals, but what did you say about them?
Yeah, so that one is like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that we can legitimately call a wave C.
Yeah, okay.
So, but that wave C simply means that it completed ABC zigzag. So it's now formed a wave Y.
I see.
Yeah, and now since then you'll see that I am struggling to put wave counts, and you'll see I've sort of put small channels on where I think I identify a clear swings rather than. But see, so the first swing down, I'm calling it again W in bracket because it's like a zigzag rather than a 5-wave down.
Yeah.
And then we got like an ABC backup to form wave X, which is ABC simply means a zigzag backup, calling a wave X in magenta in bracket.
Yeah.
And then we've got what looks to me like an ABC because the wave C is like a expanding falling funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that can be clear Elliott wave because Elliott wave do have a falling wedge as well as when it's a falling wedge, normally people consider wedge as a converging wedge.
Converging, yeah.
Yeah, this one is an expanding wedge.
Yeah.
So that one I can clearly label it as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I haven't put them on, but that can be clearly labeled as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it forms a smaller leg C, and that completes what I think is a larger wave A in bracket.
Yes. Okay, so I get it now. Like it's fractal.
Yeah.
It's waves inside of waves.
Yeah. And one of the reasons why I think we have the low in place already, even though we haven't got a real confirmation that we can, sort of get really excited about, is that one of the Elliott wave guidelines or a rule, well, not a rule but a guideline, is that, and you understand the difference between guidelines and a rule. The rule is actually cannot be modified. You can't. It's more rigid.
Yes.
It's more rigid. Whereas a guideline means that you expect certain things. So the wave B, if you watch any of my videos, you'll see that I've often talked about a triangle. Whether this is a small triangle or a big frame triangle is a triangle. A triangle can take place if it's a symmetrical triangle, which is here, for example, on an Avali, we see a symmetrical triangle, and I'm calling that symmetrical triangle as a wave B in bracket in magenta. And the triangle can take place in a wave B formation or in a wave 4. So in this particular case, I think it's a wave B. And so the rule says that if it's a wave B, then what comes out of that triangle must be an impulsive 5-wave move. And in this case, I think we do have it. It is a converging triangle, whereas the previous one was like an expanding triangle. This one is a converging triangle, and I put 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in magenta in a normal number.
Yeah.
So when you get something like that with a 5-wave decline in contracting or converging triangle, then normally that marks the end of the cycle. Now that end of the cycle doesn't mean we are going to go to the moon, but it means at least that decline is over. And hence you'll see on my chart I am suggesting that we are forming maybe very messy bullish flag on 1 hour chart with the view that it should break to the upside, and it might not break in the way that I am showing with my arrow. We might actually trade sideways and form real messy sideways congested range for 335 and probably 325, so like that $10 range, and we may sort of just congest in there long enough to frustrate everybody, and it'll just suddenly take off. And I've noticed that Bitcoin suddenly do that. It sort of goes absolutely dead, and everybody's lost every interest, and then suddenly when it takes off really wild, where people are left gasping and they wonder whether they should enter, and they think, oh no, this is too late, I'll wait for a pullback. And sometimes you get a very little pullback. If you look at that daily chart I showed you before, and once we completed that retracement to the downside on a daily chart, it really took off, and you see the retracements are very, very shallow on a daily chart. On a hourly and smaller time frame, you'll see noticeable retracement, but on a perspective, a daily chart,
Yeah.
it sort of goes a sharp move up and just maybe 1 day pause in a very narrow range and takes it off again. Another 1 or a 2 day very narrow range pause takes it off, but you don't get much of a
Yeah.
pullback.
Yeah.
So, that's what I'm expecting. That's something like that to happen, and that would hit 450 zone, even though people are now chanting Bitcoin is dead, and
Yeah.
Bitcoin is going to go down to 3, well, not 3, but even lower than 200 and that kind of thing. I think it's got every potential for it to do a sharp leg up, and as I say, being conservative, I'll say 400. I will be more than happy if we get to 450, which it could well do. That would really form a perfect picture of this one forming, contracting, falling larger triangle on a daily chart, which has started from January high.
Yeah.
And another thing that these triangle do is the previous move is so fast in terms of distance traveled in a relatively short time, that the triangles are there to kill that momentum, and it spends a lot of time killing that dynamic energy. That's why the triangles are formed, and triangle can be really frustrating. It can last for days and days and months, and
Yeah.
it gets so messy that nobody knows what's happening. That's the whole idea of a triangle.
Yeah.
So this one is not a clear triangle, but you can see overall it has a triangular shape, and I have put a meaning to it in the sense that we had a major decline from November to December as a larger wave A. Then we had a retracement back up to a larger wave B. Then since January, we are now completing this apparently what looks like to me as a falling wedge, very big falling wedge. And we are in a 2/3 way down. So we are now looking to complete this final retracement up and then the next decline down to complete that triangle. So if the time symmetry holds, we are looking for back end of this year. I mean, I have actually been
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah. What is the date of
late
your C
November,
there? What is
early
that?
December for a long time. If you see my weekly chart, I've been saying
Yeah.
that for a long time. That we won't
Yeah.
see a low until probably late this year, maybe early next year.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how
Yeah.
that develops.
I do remember looking at this chart before now. I remember.
Some
And
folks,
and we were talking, and Flibber had his chart with the moon phases and the Sidera graph, and that also predicts a big like move to the upside in like a mini bull run from December, January, February.
yeah, see in the TV chart they're talking about is done with being bullish, so let's dump it. Yeah, you know.
What did they say it down right now?
Yeah.
Oh, did you just post it again in the chat?
It's interesting when people take a contrarian view.
Sorry?
I say it's quite interesting when people start taking contrarian view. Contrarian meaning opposite view. Yeah. So if I where previously I've been bearish, people are saying, oh, he's a mega bear and he's he never changes and all that, and they're always bullish. And now I'm trying to suggest that we may have a short leg up. They're all becoming bearish now.
Yesterday, Flipper posted a inverted chart of the weekly or something like that, and it just looks crazy to be going along at the top now. which is the equivalent of going short now in the normal chart.
Yeah, people are still trying to go short here.
It's like the opposite of bulls being greedy at the top of the bubble.
Yeah.
Like irrational
Yeah, I know.
exuberance. It's like irrational exuberance in
Yes.
the bear.
In the opposite direction, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think,
but even if you're trying to do a shorter term trade, unless you're really scalping on 1 minute chart or something, where the price is now is right in the middle of the swing that we had from 270 to 415.
Yeah.
Not quite in the middle, but it's in the middle. So, I mean, how can you take a short position, and how can you take a long position? Difficult, isn't it? If you were to take a long position, then you say, okay, we'll put a stop just below the recent low on an hourly chart. So you can probably manage your stop and say maybe $5 or $10 below the current price action.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you try to short it, where do you put your stop? Difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think it's in a wrong place to short here, unless you're really scalping with a $5 kind of stop. But I think there is a good chance for this one now to start forming, potentially start forming a support zone around maybe 315, is it? Yeah, around about 315 to maybe. Yeah, possible support. So if you were to go long,
didn't we really make almost a double bottom
there? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
We actually kind of like double bottomed over there, didn't we? At 315 already. Like 316, 317, 318.
Double busting.
Double bottom.
Double bottom, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, we've got effectively like not a double bottom, but it's almost like a triple bottom.
Yeah.
On an hourly chart, you see a spike low, another little lower low, another lower low, and in fact, you get 3 lower lows like that. Is often a potential, not guaranteed, but often a potential of a trend reversal. Because what's happening is that each time they're driving the price down, they're not able to push it much below the previous low.
Yeah.
So it's forming a lower low, but it's not really doing a significant lower low compared with the previous one. And then on hourly, we have a relatively clear RSI momentum divergence, plus the fact that we have fallen into a falling wedge, which on my chart I have put in labels 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in magenta, which I think suggest, not prove, but suggest that the declining cycle is over. At least we are expecting some decent upside now. Even if it doesn't go to 400, it's a decent upside, maybe back toward 380, 390 somewhere. But certainly, I think we've got a good chance of 450 being hit. Sorry, what's happened to the channel?
No, nothing. I'm just contemplating, just processing everything that's been said. Yeah, thanks, Dan.
Hey, David, it's Beauty. Ooh, somebody needs to put a mic on.
Yes, I
let me
think
make
Dan's,
sure that.
things echoing or something.
Okay. Does anyone have a question for Dan right now? Just give him a couple minutes, Dan.
Okay.
I would just like to say thanks. I've really enjoyed your analysis and learned a lot from you.
Well, thank you.
And down below from KOS, it says, yay, cheers. From Adam J. Awesome. Thank you. And let me do a quick count too for you, Dan, so you know how many people you were speaking to today.
Okay.
I didn't realize. I think this thing has been streaming on YouTube.
So there are 26 current clients in the room right now.
And there's 16 people watching the YouTube feed.
So let's make sure that Dan has a copy of the YouTube link.
Yeah.
And so
I
Dr.
didn't realize
Helmut.
I was on there's the YouTube link. Are we? Whose screen are we looking at then? Is that yours? What's
As far as what? Oh no, Dr. Helmut put that together on YouTube.
so is that his screen? Whatever his.
Yeah, that would be his stream. Okay, if there aren't any questions or any challenges at all, Dan welcomes them. Any questions at all that you guys can think of?
Have I bought any? I haven't bought any of my own money. But I do have a very small amount, and that is through the generosity of some members who have donated that Bitcoin to me. Personally, I am not completely sold on Bitcoin just yet. I am observing the comments and arguments and some, definite reasoning and science behind it. But in terms of the general infrastructure around Bitcoin and Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin itself, but as the cryptocurrencies, I am not entirely confident myself to say, okay, I'm going to now trade this and make money. And you might have heard me say this many times, and possibly also observed me making this comment on some live session that have been recorded on YouTube, that I am useless at trading short swings, even though I analyze them and I get them really right. But I cannot, for me to trade short-term swings, like many of you, I have to basically be watching the screen. And when you look at a screen and say on an hourly bar or on any time frame, smaller time frame bar, you see, a big shoot up, and 1 minute the bar is green, next minute the bar is red, and that would really, it would really panic me off. Even though I've got bigger picture in mind, mentally I cannot really comprehend and really follow short swings. And then my general approach to any trading is that I look at not trading that often, but really when I have a clear identified potential for sensible swing, then I will consider that. And I don't have a luxury of being able to stare at screen all day. So, if I am going to trade, it would have to be one where position is relatively small, not being over leveraged, so I can afford to keep my stop at some sensible place, usually based on some structure support, and where my wave count is likely to be wrong. So that means sometimes I can't go in with a tight stop like $5 stop and $10 stop. So I have to keep position small to make sure the loss, if I do suffer one, is not going to be huge. And then that simply means also that if I do get it right, in corresponding way, the swing might be significant, but it might not actually add much to my account because the actual position is small. I really like to trade bigger swings, and when you are trying to look at Bitcoin to trade big swings, for me it's almost impossible, because when you look at that chart we were just talking about, we had a 270 low, and then before you notice, literally within 3 hours, 4 hours, we went from 270 to 320. That's nearly 50, almost $50+. So $50 on 270, that's almost like 20-25% move in 3-4 hours. And that's fine if you caught it, but if you haven't caught it, where do you enter? And you could enter, and the higher you enter, the risk increases, because where do you put your stop? So if you miss that first $10-15 move in overall, which you don't know to start off with, whether it's going to be $50 or $20 or $10, then really you missed it. Then you can drill down to smaller time, and that just compounds the problem. So some of you may be really fast at playing this game, having your fingers on the pulse and being able to use the right fingers to execute correct trade. I can't do that. So if I happen to be there, I'm there. If I'm not, then I've missed it. So I am able to trade a bigger swing. So once the trend begins and I've identified a long swing that probably lasts for several days, maybe a couple of weeks, and if it starts off sensibly and I've entered it a good position, then I'm fine. I'm happy to go, and I would have a trade that's run for several days, maybe more than a week. This is a smaller term swings, but really speaking, the real good one, the real proper trading will start once we get a low around 240, because then what will happen is a trend you are expecting to go from there at least probably back to November high or close to it, which will take several days. I think it won't be as quick as it did previously, where within a week you go from, I don't know, 400 to 1200, for example. I don't think it'll do that, but it will definitely go up, and it will show clear 5-wave up, and it lasts for several days. And in that particular order, what would happen normally is that I would enter in with a small position where I think the potential low is formed, and as it now goes up and I'm in profit, I have a profit locked in, so I can't lose anymore. And then I look for decent retracement based on minor 5-wave completing, and then ABC retracement, that sort of structure. And then you're able to add another position and then do the same again. And then hopefully over a period of a week or two, you've built up a reasonable position, never increasing your overall risk. There is always a risk because the profit is online. So if you got a profit, and you allow it to dribble all out, then that is a different kind of risk. But I mean to say risk in terms of risking your initial capital. So once that is secured and your profit is locked in with a little bit more profit to cover the cost, then really if it goes wrong, you can't lose any more from your bank account. So you're able to then consider adding another position, the next opportunity, and then over a period maybe you can build up your position like that. Then possibly you can ride that, or at significant point where you expect interim tops and maybe some retracement, you can partially take profit off and then scale back in when it retrace. So those kind of combination of those structure or those money management is how I would trade. So I never make a big money in a very quick succession like some of you do, but it's the one that I can manage and my emotional makeup would allow me. But where I really score is not in the Bitcoin, because Bitcoin I think is a relatively small financial asset, if you want to call it an asset. Very limited market, very ill regulated, and people are constantly chatting in the TV chat here about how Pinex, for example, is a rogue and is going to go out of business tomorrow. and something is a myth with another particular trading exchange and all that kind of thing. So really, that's not, I think, a good place to trade really big. And when I mean really big, like some of you were very fortunate if you're here and you say, oh, I've been involved with Bitcoin last 2-3 years, and you got involved when Bitcoin was in cents, not in dollars. Then, well, well done, and you have to be commended. You've done really well. But is that doing well just happens to be because you happen to be in the right place at the right time? Almost like um, um, by accident, or is it by device and specific um, planning and effort gone into it? Did you know, for example, that when you got involved in dollars, that the Bitcoin will go up to 1200? I mean, did you plan that? Or did you just expect when you were involved at $1 that it might go to 100 or $200? I don't know. And then suddenly when you were $200 and it drops back down to $20, what would you think? You see, so, when you get a swing like that, if you happen to be fortunate enough to buy small and just buy it and forget it, and you've gone in at the right time and you've done well, just like many people, for example, bought in technology bubble in the late 1980 and 99 and late 99, going up to into 2000. I mean, I can remember I had stocks, technology stocks, fiber optic and some telecommunication stocks and some pharmaceutical stocks, anything with .com, and it was just rocketing. And people were saying, how is this possible? Well, people start saying it's a new paradigm. We've had a PE ratio of some obscene number like 3,000-4,000 PE ratio. That means if you invest in that share and if you wait for the dividend, it would take you several thousand years for your capital to be returned. And people thought that was a new paradigm, just like people say it's a new paradigm now for Bitcoin. So, it may well be. But many people made huge money, and I'm included. When I was to listen to my previous conversations in individual, like on chat like this one, or comments I've made in my videos, in my trading and real charting skills started off from early days in 1992, 94. So in 96 and 98, I was still relatively new, and it was more a pastime hobby rather than really something I should spend a lot of time on it, because you're trying to balance that with your family life, your work, and everything else that goes with it, and also with your work, not just work, but studying for exams and all these kind of things. So really around 95, 96, I was learning in my early days, much like many of you are, trading very small, but trading by not using any leverage, and just simply buying small parcel of stocks and holding them for a period of year, 2 year, that sort of thing. And when technology bubble really took off, I had no idea, really no idea at all, where this bubble is going to go, or whether it was actually called a technology bubble. But I did realize that suddenly all the technology stocks were just booming. And what really struck me was one of the professional fund manager, a very well respected fund manager. He's got 30 years of fund management record, and an excellent record at that. You won't find many fund managers with this credential. I tell you, you can Google him up and you can find him. He's called Neil Woodford. Now, Neil Woodford used to work up till recently for Invesco Perpetual Fund Management in the UK, and he has been with them for best part of his his career, almost 30 years. Just last year, he left them with a view of establishing his own firm. And he has now started up with that credential to set up a fund under his own name. So instead of working for Invesco Perpetual, he's now working for himself, called Woodford Fund Management. And right from word go, you can rest assured that with his credential, people were lining up to invest money with him, even taking out money with his previous employer's fund that he was managing and reinvesting in his new fund. So he's an excellent fund manager. Really, you will find a handful of fund management characters of this pedigree. Neil Woodford, and I'm talking about UK. I'm sure there'll be similar ones in US, but in UK, Neil Woodford, Richard Buxton, Anthony Bolton, who's recently retired, Anthony Nutt. People like these are very rare. You don't find many fund managers with this kind of credential. But the point I'm making is this: Neil Woodford, he refused to get involved in dot-com bubble. Absolutely point blank refused, because his way of managing the fund was that there has to be some logic and there has to be some mathematics to it. But when he was looking at all the dot-com bubbles, he did not see any real prospect of many of these companies making profit, and certainly buying at an obscene PE ratio just because people thought that this is a growth stock. He couldn't buy that, so he absolutely point blank refused, and such a manager was suddenly being rubbished by the major trading community, investing community, and people like us who worked in the financial services industry. Many of us started wondering whether we should have our client money invested with him, because we think he's lost it. So this dot-com bubble, he's refusing to get involved, carried on for 2 years, and he was trailing behind. His excellent credentials were almost being tarred to the point where people were making fun of him. But he did not, budge. He stuck to his guns. And he was proved right when the 2000 top was formed, and many of those dot-com bubble companies literally went bankrupt and absolutely disappeared. And if you look at NASDAQ, you can see it lost nearly 80%, more than 80% of its capital value from 2000 high. And up till today, NASDAQ has not reclaimed 2000 high. So he was absolutely right. And he had a vision which he was able to then frame his trading strategy based on. And he managed a fund, a massive fund, relatively speaking. There aren't many fund managers managing fund like that. And if you look at the last 20 years of his investment, he has returned in excess of 10 and 15% compound return, including 2003 down cycle and the 2009, 2007, 2008 to 2009 down cycle. Even allowing for all of that, he has returned in excess of 15% compound every year on average for the last 20 years. So, the reason why I'm telling you this story is that sometimes many people who made huge money in the dot-com bubble, they came and they went. But people like Neil Woodford, they've stuck around and they have continued to pile on historical track record to their ability to manage people's money and do it very effectively. So in similar comparison, many people who have got really well, really rich, or relatively speaking, have done really well with Bitcoin. I think a lot of this has happened to be that maybe a little bit of knowledge, maybe they were early adopters, and they got involved at a very low level. I'm sure many times they must have had sleepless night wondering what's going to happen when you suddenly see more than 50% or 60% collapse in the Bitcoin value along the way. Maybe they stuck to it. Maybe many of them got very passionate and almost like religious about Bitcoin story and cryptocurrency story. So all of those people have done really well up till November high, 2013 November high. And the bullish sentiment that they had almost unchallenged and almost unquestionable, has now been called into question. And many of them will be now considering that yes, Bitcoin can have downside, even if it's not going to go out of business, and they still reckon it's going to go to 10,000 and 12,000, but they are now at least conceding a possibility that there could be some serious setback along the way. But previously, they never witnessed it in the time of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency history. Bitcoin only sort of corrected for a period of few weeks, if that. So you can't go by the fact that you have made money up till November 2013 high, because that story and that particular cycle is not likely to repeat. And the question now arises: if it doesn't repeat, then how are you going to make money on it? Is it by trading $10 swings, or is it by really working calculated and then grabbing what you think is going to be a meal rather than just a snack? So in order to do that with a Bitcoin, you are really limited simply because it's just one instrument. All the others I really don't think is worth. It's a gambling, all the others, as far as I'm concerned. But Bitcoin, as being probably the largest component of cryptocurrency, one could say maybe you could trade that. But I think you haven't got any diversification. If you get a wrong calculated entry, then it's one instrument. You haven't got anything else to help you compensate. And there are no different ways of hedging your trade. Recently now we've got a futures, so maybe you can use the futures to hedge, but really difficult to be long futures and short futures at the same time, especially maybe in the same account. So in a roundabout way, what I'm saying is my way of trading is a big cycles, big swings, and that means sometimes really not doing very much with it, and looking at a wider financial assets than just the cryptocurrencies, which then opens a way for different style of management of risk and different style of participating in returns could actually surpass Bitcoin. Maybe not compare the Bitcoin with saying it was $1 a couple of years ago and now it's it was high at 1200. It might not do that, I agree, but then you won't get that with the Bitcoin even going forward. Not on a consistent basis. So what alternatives do you have? So this is what I'm saying, is that you have variety of assets. So you could be, for example, trading some assets which are part of a like a hard commodities, like iron or copper, or like mined a proper mined commodities. Or you can have a soft commodities such as agricultural commodities, and they all have different cycles. You could then be trading stocks, and even within a stocks, some of them are industrial stocks, some of them may be discretionary sector, some of them might be staple sector, and all of these also have different cycles, different amplitude. And within that component, say for example, if you look at a energy component, then within an energy, you'll have oil as a major sector of the energy, and there will be companies which extract oil, so their future will be based on oil price. And oil price is very cyclical in terms of annual cycles, peak demand and off-peak demand. So all of these kind of things add an opportunity for people to trade variety of assets. So if you're waiting for Bitcoin, for example, to come around and to give you a right opportunity to trade, during which time you don't get impatient, you don't get frustrated, and then you start taking trade that really aren't there. You could be trading something else. So your total trading capital could be split between different sectors of financial assets, and some of them might have been just recently entered, others might be developing midterm, some might be coming to maturity, and some you're just monitoring, waiting for right opportunity to enter. So amongst it all, you'll have baskets of trade developing, baskets of trade maybe you're considering to enter, some coming to maturity. So all of these help to diversify risk because you're not taking on a risk of mistiming by doing all the trade at the same time. Secondly, you're diversifying because of the variety of assets having a different cycles, so they won't do the same thing same time. You can't, for example, expect um, oil to go down whilst at the same time some other energy component to shoot up. Or if the oil is rising, then you can't expect other commodities necessarily to be falling because the cost of oil as a basic raw material means that other commodities also have to use oil in many ways. So you'll find that maybe in some way they're also reflecting a similar price appreciation, maybe of different magnitude, and some will, for example, start picking up when the real winter sets in, and some might be picking up when major driving season in US sets in. It's all and then of course things like planting seasons and harvesting. So all this helps to diversify risk and getting mistiming, which is the biggest pitfall, and giving you effectively several attempts at different assets. So that's where I come. That's why I will never really major on a Bitcoin, not in foreseeable future, i.e. next 3 to 4 years. I do not expect myself to be seriously trading Bitcoin in a big way, but I will be trading stocks and equities. In fact, lining up lots of candidates for that, and several commodities, but using options for these because like many of you, my trading account is relatively small, and I want to try and grow that with a hopeful expectation that maybe in the next 12 to 18 months, my trading capital could probably multiply maybe 10-15 times, but only trading big swings, not intraday swinging at all, not sitting monitoring the trade all day long. So in the next 12 months, my idea is to grow my capital, that I have like a seed capital using options, and if some of my trading plan works out, then as I say, maybe next 12 to 18 months, I could have a significant capital to give me further opportunities of maybe going full-time trading, but not trading full-time, if you understand what I'm saying. Trading full-time, trading for living, but not trading full-time by sitting on a chair and watching the PC, in front of the screen. Still leading my life, trading options where your risk can be absolutely finite based on your analysis and then planning the trade, quantified absolutely from day one, but then you allow yourself enough time for that trade to work because you're looking for a big swing which will last you for several weeks and maybe several months, not hours. And equally, even if it goes against you for a week or two or even a month, you won't be spooked out because you fully expect that, and it will not eat into your capital because the money you put on the trade is the money that is at risk, nothing more. You won't get an adverse drawdown using these kind of options. So that is where my real strength is, and I think that is where I would focus my efforts and energies. I am following Bitcoin purely because of such a energy-filled community and Bitcoin being a new instrument. And my initial interest was simply to see if I can put my technical skill to pitch against this volatile instrument. That's the reason why I started becoming involved with the Bitcoin. So I'm sorry if it's been a very long winded answer to your question, but hopefully it explains where I come from, my makeup, my general approach, and why I think Bitcoin is not likely to be my main trading area. In my professional environment, not as much. However, there are a few fund managers with they're relatively younger ones, unlike Neil Woodford, who is 52 somewhere, I think. and many of his generations. There are many young fund managers. Some of them also are, establishing and developing good track record, but having relatively short period, the last 3 4 years 5 years, but then generally the market has been going up, so it's not really a time where their real ability to manage a bear cycle is fully tested yet. So we'll have to wait for a judgment on that. But there are some of these young ones who have commented on wanting to get involved in Bitcoin, but because of the size of the money they're managing, they can't take meaningful um, positions in Bitcoin. And this was more at the time when the Bitcoin was growing, or not growing, but Bitcoin was rising with leaps and bounds, leading into November high and short period after that. But then I think now, if I was to ask them the same question, I think they would be now very reticent to get involved right this moment in time. And simply because, not so much because the Bitcoin has now gone into bear cycle, but simply the capital size of Bitcoin asset is too limited for some of these fund managers to get involved. You might say, for example, and I'll be very frank, I have seen some comments on TV chat here where people are saying, I've got like a 20,000 Bitcoin, 10,000 Bitcoin, and I'm blinking my eye and think, wow, these guys, are they gamblers, or have they got a very large trading account? I don't know what size of trading account they got, but suddenly to be buying and selling 20,000 Bitcoins, even at the current price, never mind when it was at $1,000. For me, it's a big money. I don't care which way you slice it. It's a big money. I wouldn't trade that kind of money on any instrument as a single trade. So, putting that into perspective, some of these fund managers, they might want to put in something like I don't know, 300, 400, $1,000 worth of money. So they can't just buy 20, $30,000 or 20, 30,000 Bitcoin. They have to buy several 100,000 Bitcoins really to sort of satisfy their what they call meaningful position. So I'm afraid I don't find such an enthusiastic support toward Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies in general just yet. And there have been negative comments from ECB, which is the European Central Bank, warning the regulated banks in the Europe, which includes banks in UK, to be very careful about getting involved with Bitcoin for regulatory purposes and other concerns, i.e., security and theft and being accounts being hacked and all that kind of thing. So those things are leading me to believe that it will be a long time before they will get involved. Now I know I have come across article in US where there's some institution in the US looking to launch an ETF, and is currently seeking regulatory clearance from the Securities and Exchange Commission in US. If they do that, it might then make BT more acceptable towards a wider financial community beyond just the high-tech geeks who have heard of Bitcoin from infancy, and many of them frequenting TradingView chat. So to take them beyond that particular environment and that community, an ETF fully approved by Security and Exchange Commission might actually add more credence, but I think that will be a while yet to come. I don't think it will be in the next few months, although many are thinking that it's only months away. I think it will probably take a longer time. When the ETF comes, then it's possible for an ETF possibly to have what I call options instrument to trade on ETF, because many of the ETF starts with ETF, and then if the liquidity in ETF is justified, then often you will have people willing to write options on it. Maybe at that time, I would show very keen interest actually to trade that like any other assets. But my worry is that I don't understand technology in the way that many of you do. I'm really mindful of the fact that people in the Bitcoin industry are so clever that they're able to hack other Bitcoiners' accounts, hijack whole exchange. I mean, what chance do I have? I struggle to even log into this particular chat. What chance do I have to remain safe? So I would be personally very cautious, and I think maybe many people, not all of them, but maybe many people will show kind of share my concern, and so that these kind of things have to be addressed properly, and there has to be some legislation. I know many don't like legislations, they don't like laws, they don't like institutions, for all sorts of reasons, and generally as a kind of a rebellious kind of a stand, or a view that all of these are corrupt. And they could well be right, but equally, in life, you wake up in the morning, there is a rule to say that you'll probably need a breakfast. Whether you like it or not, it can't debate, you can't negotiate, you can't dispute. At some stage, hour, 2 hour, 3 hour later, you'll need a breakfast, you'll need a lunch, you'll need a meal, you'll need to drink, you'll need to rest, you'll need to sleep. So no matter how much you fight against these institutions, these are laws, and everything in life. Can you imagine if you're driving on the road, suddenly to find somebody takes a view that, oh, I'm not going to abide by any rules, I'm going to drive any which way I want. So he could be coming against you, in the opposite direction on a highway, or not stopping at traffic lights, or doing a U-turn at a cross junction maybe, or some other kind of maneuvers. Would you feel safe driving there, or would you want some kind of a rule or structure, so that at least you know what others are expecting from you and what you are expecting from them? So you can't take this to an extreme and say all rules are bad, all legislations are bad, all regulations are bad, because if you remove them all, what have you got? Nothing. If you bring up a family, children, they rely on parents. If you remove all the rules, then one of the rule would be is that parents are not obligated to the children. Now that can't be very nice for the children then, can it? I mean, I may be talking nonsense, but I think you do need a structure, you do need rules, and I agree some of them are really unjustifiable, or some of them could be disputed, and some of them are proven to be for detriment. But it doesn't mean just because of that you fight everything. So in short, what I'm saying is that Bitcoin really needs some framework, a framework that can be relied upon, and that would engender some degree of confidence before Bitcoin can get into wider community. And even merchants, people talk about merchants, people talk about more and more merchant joining, but in reality, if you were to ask them how much volume are they actually selling the goods by accepting Bitcoin as a means of payment, I would suspect it will be relatively small in terms of percentage overall. So if they're selling the goods for whatever a week, they may only be taking a very small percentage, very small, maybe single digit percentage, or very low double digit a trading volume using Bitcoin as a means of payment. And maybe those people will probably know a lot more about Bitcoin than I do in order for them to really get involved, because many retailers are selling goods, some of them on a relatively tight margin. They have costs to meet, they have cash flow to consider, wages to pay. uh, it's not easy. They're not everybody are speculators. And if those who are speculators, you can imagine people who bought Bitcoin at 700 and 600 and 900 and 1,000. How many years do you think they'll have to wait before they get that money back? Business can't run like
Dan,
that. Anyway,
Dan, we've got a breakout. We've been going flat for a while, and now
okay,
suddenly price is moving.
right. Well, thank you very much for listening to my gibbering.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. I've been listening a bit on and off. Half an hour. I've had to leave the room a few times, but I'm sure a lot of other people were also listening.
Right.
And yeah, thanks for all of that.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Dan, for taking your time, and I hope you'll come back and visit everybody here.
I'll try.
Okay, my
Thank you.
friend. It's good
Thank
to
you.
hear from you.
Is anyone here still? Who's here? Beauty.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Ah,
I thought you were a very fine host.
oh, thank you.
I've just come back upstairs.
All right.
Are you, Tootie? Okay, good.
Been reading some Gan.
So have you seen what's going on? We've broken down.
I will put a chart in the box. As far as I'm concerned, Stamp is just moving down on Ruby's cloud right now. So you guys will see it once the chart's in the box. I also want to let you know that Allstay's site has a new feature on it now. And it looks like it's some type of an alerts feature. You guys might want to check that out and run through its paces.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. I saw that as well. Looks quite interesting. That Whale Club website that he's got.
And for Alex, the two questions that you asked Dan, do you feel that you got your answer? Just to follow up with you. And as is my style, make sure if you're over at TradingView that you send Dan a note and say that you listened, or hope to hear from him soon, that kind of thing, just out of a courtesy. For those of you interested, if you go back through the YouTube, make sure that you listen very closely to the lows that Dan was expressing, okay?
Hey guys.
Yeah, hi.
Fucking hell, my
Hey, you.
browser crashed and I didn't even realise. I was watching it on my iPad. The browser crashed and it's just locked up.
Bloody hell.
Just looking at everything and it's all just crashing. My alerts were going off and I didn't realise.
Well, Shane hosted Dan V.
Yeah, and it was, yeah, it just happened like automatically. I didn't even feel like, I didn't feel like I was being harassed that much, but I guess I was.
Also, Sunny, Dan put his couple charts. One, and then the second one was a close-up, I believe. So I aim to get a little bit more ETA on when the Winkelvosses will be speaking in Vegas. Okay, we'll get a little better time frame on it, so it doesn't
Yeah,
creep
yeah,
up on us like it did last night. Okay, that's
yeah,
what I'll be
thank you.
working on. You're welcome. And also, I know, Dan, if you can hear me, the way that this TeamSpeak works, or at least as I've seen, it's very organic. That it's a come and go. So even though you might get it some sort of like an invite from me, wow, I don't know whose thing is on, but getting a lot of echo.
Might be Dan again.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Dan.
Okay. So you come as you are. Once you are in the TeamSpeak, you can just come in and just just be part of it. But you know how I am. I usually tend to do the invite kind of thing because I know your topic, driven. It seems like it's a little easier to be directed when you have a topic in play. But it is an open mic for, I don't know, 90%, I suppose, is what I've noticed. I'm thinking that if you just have something on your mind, or even if you see an anomaly in the chart, or maybe something that you're trying to work out, to just come on into TeamSpeak. I know that there'll be someone here 24/7 to listen or talk it out with you.
Hello.
Who's that?
It's Tui.
Ah, yeah. You know why we dropped, right? I'll tell you why. Because I closed out a little bit more of my shorts again.
Sorry?
The reason we dropped is because I closed out a little bit more of my short.
If you could
I've still got a
just
short, but it's just I've just reduced the size of it because I was starting to get worried that we were going to have a repeat of last night.
if you can just add some more shorts so we go up, and then I can get my shorts filled, and then you can close yours and let me make some profit.
Kumbaya that.
I'm joking, Shane. I'm joking, mate. I'm only joking.
You needed a good laugh to get that phlegm out.
Yep. Sorry, I've been coughing these balls of phlegm up, and we've had to listen to it.
It's cool, man.
I need to go and shop and buy some food.
Are we back there again? Oh my goodness. Frame your trade and then go out shopping. Well, Dr. O, we have some things coming up this evening, so it's just a matter of what you want to try and follow. I mean, the answer. I'm being poked right now, so it's hard for me to pay attention. But last night, when we were watching the Money 2020 event happen, well, then what do you think we would have all been trying to tell you to do? So I think that we're just kind of a little bit on pins and needles right now, it looks like to me. And then also after listening to Dan and understanding why we're in this kind of very sloshy and sluggish range, and all of us are waiting for this breakout. So I will really look at his chart tonight, because that flag isn't always easy to see when you're on top of a 15-minute chart. So you really have to kind of take a look at Dan's chart tonight, and then you tell yourself, whether or not it would be wrong to go long here. Yeah, there's a Flibber's inverted chart. Overlay that with Dan's prospects. That would be a great chart. Dan, there's something that I cannot remember for the life of me. Early on, when you were describing who Elliot was and what he was after, I love hearing that story, and I don't know if you're still on, if you want to talk about he wasn't trying to give you a projection, but I don't know, it was early on you so beautifully described.
Ben, you
Yeah.
got your microphone near to your speaker or something, or can you maybe wear headphones or something? Because your
It's Dan. It's Dan. Dan who's
Dan.
echoing.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it picking up noise, is it?
Let's see.
Yeah, it's picking up the noise
Still,
from your
yeah.
speakers and going into your microphone.
If you
Okay.
if you go into settings and then options, it's
Settings and options, yeah.
Yep. And then you see voice activation detection.
Activate microphone automatically.
Yeah, if you can drag that bar up a bit, so that it doesn't it takes a lot more noise to pick up the.
Okay, sorry, I'm not with you. So on here, once we go into the option, you got a server, activate microphone automatically when switching server. That one is not checked.
No, you need to first go down to where it says capture. You see where it says application, design, downloads. First have to click on capture.
Under miscellaneous. Are we looking at the symbols? Are we looking at the symbols on the left?
Yeah, the symbols on the left, yeah.
Yeah.
The one that looks like
Okay,
a microphone. It says capture.
right. Okay, so I'm now going to follow you. So you're asking me to go down that list and go to where?
Well, you can click on it. Capture. Click on it.
Checklist.
The microphone.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Capture.
Click on the microphone. Yeah.
Yeah. Microphone capture.
And then you've got options. You can say push to talk, or continuous transmission, or voice activation detection.
Yeah.
And it's probably it's selected on voice activation detection, right?
It's currently checked. Voice activation detection. Yeah.
If you click begin test, then you can.
Sorry, I think that's breaking up. Didn't hear that.
If you click on begin test, then you can adjust where that slider is. You see that horizontal scale.
Yeah.
You can drag the thing. If you drag it to the right, it makes it less sensitive.
Okay.
It will probably reduce the echo.
So at the moment, it's full to the right.
Is it?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
on 50 at the moment.
And I can't hear my echo anymore.
You can't. And there is
Yeah, so that's perfect.
underneath. Underneath there is a few couple of boxes. One of these echo reduction.
Yeah.
Should I check
mine
that?
isn't even ticked.
Yeah, no, you should check that, Dan. And there's another one called. There's another one underneath it as well. Check that as well.
Advanced option.
No. So there's echo reduction and there's another box underneath.
Echo cancellation.
Yeah. Put both of those on.
Okay, so both echo reduction and echo cancellation.
Yeah, that's it.
And the scale is right to the far right, which is at 50.
It seems like that's working. So yeah, let's keep that.
And apply.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works fine,
Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah, that's much better.
So I'll jump in here. Okay, Dan, if you can still hear me. So long ago, when we used to do these things, you would give a little history of who Elliot was and why the Elliot, and why it's one of those rare indicators in which you can project price. And you described it in just this lovely way so that people understood the importance of knowing some of the basics of Elliot and why it works so well and why very good traders use Elliot often. Thank you. And you'll have to press your talk button.
He hasn't got it set up like that.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait then. And then also you might be interrupted if we see movement in the chart too, okay?
Yeah, which kind of is happening now.
Yeah, I think so. So let him sort out some things technically.
Yeah.
And then, he doesn't mind to be cut off. You just have to jump in and just say, pardon me. Because he understands that you guys are watching smaller time frames and that for you tonight, well, really for the next 3 days, is kind of important when Las Vegas decides to talk.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's great to be respectful.
Have you got any information for us on that when the Winklevoss twins will be speaking?
Yeah, I'm trying to look for it right now. I'm on their website. For those of you, it's called Winklevoss Capital.
Yeah, we seem to be moving, guys. Hope everyone got their shorts in. Anyone still here?
Yeah.
Yeah. in before somebody calls double bottom. And then we smash right
Yeah,
through
this
it.
is going to be something else.
What about double bottom?
Kinda looks like a double bottom on the half an hour, but it's not gonna hold. We are like right on the support now.
Yeah, OK coin looks like it pushed harder, actually. What was Dan saying? Is he bullish here?
Yeah. He said he was bullish on the longer, like zoomed out on the daily, on the weekly or something. But did admit that it could still go down to 315 or something.
I'm sorry?
Dan was saying that overall on the like big picture, that it's quite bullish here. But on the all the time frames, he does concede that it could still drop down to about 315 or something like that before going up again to like 450.
Yeah, I mean, just based on momentum, it feels like that. Our last little pump up, the market seemed almost totally convinced that it was going to go up from here on out, because we had a lot of trouble. I think clearly we've had a lot of trouble going down. I think the next time we have a little pump up like that, the market, especially if you make a lower low, it'll be that. That'll be it. It'll be it. It'll be done.
Okay, if I have this right, it was yesterday at 2000 hours, and that's 2 hours away from now, so it's 8 o'clock ish Eastern Standard Time. You know what's crazy about this is that I did a concept chart with someone calling for. He wanted to know when did I think that, or when did I think that it would return to the lows. So we did some bars pattern work, and I said, well, it looks like there'll be some heat, but from 2000 hours on the 2nd until, and then the chart went over, I think, to the 8th or something like that. And I have to find the chart again. But it's completely the opposite of what happened on the bars pattern. If you're around and you'd saved my chart, that would be cool for me to take another look at it. and that was going to the 275 area on time. He wanted to know, the challenge was, could you tell me, / could the charts tell you when we might see those lower prints? So tonight it looks like it will be in a couple of hours that will start to see the disposition of the Winkelvosses, and I do believe that they lead the keynote. It will be someone that will precede the keynote, and that will set the tone, and then they'll come forward like Lowski did last night. From the tweets, they're already playing loud music, etc., on the disco floor.
What's the link to this meeting, please?
Yeah, well, you'd follow the Twitter, first of all. Do you have that hashtag?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I just got back and I heard you talking.
Oh, yeah, that's cool, Hold on. First post is the real time. Make sure that you're getting all of the tweets, not just the top tweets.
Okay.
So there's your Twitter. And some people are doing vines, and I know that there's going to be vines like all over this thing when the Winkelvosses show up, because, they're the most handsome creatures on the planet.
And there's two of them.
And there's a matching pair. Too bad this isn't for Dan. Too bad that they're not a 4X pair, Dan. The Winkelvosses. Okay, so that gets you settled with the Twitter. As far as the Money 2020 site, it's if you're not there, you don't get the schedule. That's the problem that I'm having. You get the agenda, but you don't get the schedule. If you wanted to feel like you were there, you would listen to Money by Pink Floyd right now. If you want to kind of get a sense of Vegas. I love Pink Floyd. Oh, I love David Gilmour more than Pink Floyd. So in typical Vegas fashion, I will send you the YouTube link to the official music video, Pink Floyd.
Bull trap indeed.
What do you mean, bull trap, David? Are you short, David?
What's that?
Are you short?
Yeah, when you were closing your short back there at 324-ish, because it looked like it was going up. I said it looked like a bull
Hey,
trap.
was I buying your coins?
No, I wasn't in a position. I'd already sold. But I thought it might be a bull trap. It looked like it was going to go up, but then fall off a little bit later. And then Dan V came in, and I had to go. Not, I didn't have to go because Dan V. I had an errand to run, so I had to walk over to the computer. No, it wasn't against Dan V.
Is that what he meant?
No, I guess that sounded wrong. Beauty, are you here?
Yeah, she was, yeah. Oh, she's moved to the other room.
Oh.
Yo, what's going on, David?
Is that Ross?
Yeah, what's up?
The gimbalist?
Gimbalist, brah.
Gimbalist?
Yeah, do you know what a gimbal is?
Yeah. I didn't know it was spelled like that.
What is a gimbalist?
Well, a gimbal is a multi-degree of freedom joint, essentially. And so I'm a mechanical engineer, so I make gimbals. So I'm a gimbalist.
Have you ever seen a ship's lantern, Shane, that kind of like hangs? It's gimbaled, so it has like multiple degrees of freedom. So no matter which way the boat rocks, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like a compass, a gimbaled compass. Hey Ross,
Yeah.
I thought you made your millions and you left, man.
No, I had a wedding that I went to this weekend and didn't really have the right setup. So I was like doing stuff on my own, but I was socializing a lot, so I couldn't really get on TeamSpeak. But damn, I was checking that price.
Yeah, we're glad you're here.
Dude, yeah, it looks like if we break down here, it's gonna be a nice little sell-off.
Well, I'm gonna be contrarian. I'm getting bullish actually.
Oh, me too, man. I'm very bullish just because that last little buy up that we had like the market had so much momentum. It seemed like it didn't care which way we went as much. So we went up and it went up with it, and it had a lot of trouble changing directions.
Yeah, except it happened twice before that, and both
Yeah,
times
but
we
those
came back down.
yeah, those
and then
were
it fell
much
below.
yeah, those were much more intense and very quickly started selling back off. This time we sort of had a small build up and then we had a very large increase. Like it was much more bullish than the previous ones. The previous ones were very, very obviously like pump fakes. This one was also,
Actually,
I think this was a
no,
pump fake.
because I'm taking a look right now. Hold on. If I take the date range,
Look at these huge buys on Coin.
it actually took longer for the previous run up on the 30th, on the end of the last month, to retrace back than this one. There's 13 bars for the complete retracement on this one. There's 17 bars in the retracement of the last one.
You see this retrace on OKCoin? What the hell?
Yeah, God mode is turning up. The 1, 3, and 5.
No volume though. It's just a lack of asks up there. 10 order book on the upside.
What do you mean no volume? Are you looking at OKCoin?
I'm looking at Huobi, but hold on, take a look at OKCoin.
100. Yeah, it's 500 coins.
Guys, we just had 120 buy on OKCoin.
More than that, man.
It's been
Oh yeah, OKCoin is a different story. I was looking at Huobi. You're right.
100 plus 114 plus 110. It's like, yeah.
That was a nice little spread, $1.50. Gonna keep going up a little bit here, I think.
Yeah, it looks like this is the 3 and 5 minute turning up.
We had 220 Bitcoin buys on OKCoin. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's certainly isolated to OKCoin still.
Hey, Bucklow, were you? Hey, Flipper. Bucklow, were you trolling those guys in TradingView when you said you use no indicators?
I don't use any indicators, no. I've never used an indicator.
That's why he's on here. He lost all his money.
Oh.
That makes you feel better about yourself, sure.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Trade. What do you do to figure out whether you want to enter a trade or not?
I just look at volume and the candlesticks, the raw price.
Well, volume's an indicator.
Well, I mean, what I mean is raw anything that's raw.
Oh, yeah.
Anything that's manipulated by a formula, you're just, multiplying and dividing and squaring values there, here and there.
Yeah, I got you.
That Flipper?
Sonny, he lives in Bel Air. He got in a fight in his neighborhood one day when he was playing basketball.
Is his name Colton?
Yeah.
It's not unusual.
Sonny, your mic is much better.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. What have you changed it or something?
No, it's the same mic, man.
Yes,
Did
good.
you just watch the episode, whatever, of The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I just watched the new one just now.
I just downloaded it. I'm gonna watch it as well.
Thing is, when you wait for China to win.
Tommy, you still touting that inverse chart that you had yesterday?
Yeah, I said my level is 1966. If 1966 goes, then that's the level to break, really.
Yeah, I'm down with that. 1967 was hit by OKCoin.
So if it bounces off there, if it goes up before, then are you gonna get in long then?
Like we were going sideways before, and the 15-minute bands were tight as fuck, and it started this sell-off. So I wonder if we've actually just broken down already right now.
Tough to
It's
say, right?
possible we have just broken down.
Yeah, I think
What?
so. The 23% line is 1977, and we dipped down to 1970.
But I'm not doing anything until 1966 goes. That level's just been so fucking strong. You know, when that goes.
I don't see these
then
these
I'll do
buys
something.
that are happening on OKCoin on any other exchanges.
Yeah,
Like,
it's totally
yeah, it's just
isolated.
isolated.
It's nice to see that on OKCoin for once, because usually it's Hubi that's doing all the fake volume pumping.
Yeah, I don't believe this these buy volumes on OKCoin until I see it on other exchanges.
Maybe it's the same guy, and he's just like, Hubi's gotten too smart for me. And he went over and he's fucking with OKCoin now.
But on OKCoin, there's 3 instances of 120 buys. Exactly 120 buys on 3 different instances, spaced 30 seconds apart.
Wasting power pumping it. Yeah.
It's just been very fucking rangy at the moment, so until 1966 goes, I'm just chilling out.
I'm out 1980.
That actually rebounded than I thought.
What?
That 5 is pushing it up. Good trade. Trading view is lagging again.
I'm going down to the shop quickly.